slightly different Deerhair Bumble for Mayfly time. Two things with this, obviously the use of the fluorescent pink deer hair in the head and the rib. The rib on this, it's very, very fluorescent. I'm hoping you can pick it out. So bit of fluorescence, can be a good pattern towards the end of the season. So just take that out of the vise and just put in a fulling mill short shank special size 8. I'm going to use yellow thread for this one. You can use either yellow or olive thread. Using yellow for this one because I want to put a bit of yellow under the tail, just as another little trigger point, you know, for later in the season when the trout will be on Daphnia, and little fluorescent spots, and that can be extra effective. So I've got some fluorescent pink deer hair here. It is fluorescent, reacts to UV light. Cut off a pinch of that and just put it into your hair stacker. You can comb out first if you want, but this one I don't think there's a whole lot of underfur in this one. Bang it on the table and remove the hair from the stacker. Give it a few flicks. If there's any pieces that are too short or anything like that, you get them out. Like so, and then you've okay. I'm not entirely happy with that, so I'm going to run it through the stacker again. Sometimes the tips just aren't spot on, and that's a bit better. You can see it's fairly clean hair. So you're looking at kind of around the length of the shank. So it's the loose turn, just work it around the shank. Just trap it down and start tightening it on the, just get to about the third turn and really tighten down on it. So it's a fluorescent yellow thread. You could use 6/0. I think this is 8/0. You don't want it too thin because you don't want to cut your deer hair. If you have dyed elk, it can be a little bit tougher and you might get away with it even thinner thread. So I'm just trimming around there to get all these long butts removed. You probably could break some of them off as well, but I'm not doing that. I'm just holding it there now just to make sure that nothing is going to spin around anywhere I don't want. Just keep those fibres forward, and that's not bad. Now I'm sure if you wanted to, you could add a drop of glue or something, you know, clear lacquer there, just to keep everything set, but it should be fine. So I'm just going down around the bend a bit, this fluorescent yellow, and I'm just going to bring it back around. I'm going to add a drop of clear lacquer to that anyway, just to protect the thread. So it's the clear lacquer that Piscari fly sells. Then I'm going to use a pheasant tail dyed olive, natural pheasant tail dyed olive for the tail. About 8 or 10 strands, probably about that. You're looking at a little bit longer than the shank of the hook. It's kind of a pattern I'm going to use when there's mayfly around. So trap that down and run it up against the little bump that's left behind the deer hair. That'll help taper your body. Then on the way back down, I'm going to catch in some of this stuff. So it's a green flexi floss. It's not chartreuse, it's more of a green, but it's very fluorescent. So I can't remember where I came across this, but I'm sure you'll find something like it. But it's a fluorescent, or it might be labelled as a UV green. Good stuff. It's really good on buzzers as well. Certain buzzer patterns. So locate my wax, and I'm going to use the dubbing colour for this. It's called Green Olive. It's from the Frankie McPhillips range. It's not a colour I use in too many patterns. I don't know why. It's a nice colour, but I just don't use it on that many. But I do use it on these. It's a good colour. I should probably use it a bit. A few butterflies. Probably work on a green Peter as well for a body colour. I usually use a more brighter green on my green Peter patterns, but some people use colours similar to this. I've seen some people using just pretty much an olive, as in not even a green olive. And the catfish, the hackle here, just remove one of these. It's a dark olive. Now you could use two if you want the fly to be even more bumblier, but let's say I'm just kind of using this more just as a wet top dropper fly. So it's a little bit bumbly, a little bit mayfly. And start there. Fairly close turns because we're using one hackle. So pretty close turns. So probably 7 or 8 turns down this. And then I'm going to catch our flexi floss rib and trap that in and bring it up through those hackles right the ways up to the front of the hackles there. Catch it in with your thread so you get a couple of turns in front, a couple of turns either side really. Now normally when you're cutting off flexi floss you're going to stretch it and trim it, but here I'm not going to stretch it too much, just a small bit, because I don't want it to unravel and undo the whole rib. So it's just stretch it a small bit and undo it. Because you're not going to see it if there's a tiny piece. You're not going to see it under this deer hair when it's pushed back anyway. So no point taking the risk when you've gone to all this trouble with this much of the fly. So put back your deer hair, stroke it back, and start building up a head in front of it. As I say, you don't have to use yellow. You could use olive for a bit different contrast. Some tied with olive thread as well. So just building up that head area. So throw whip finish into this. So, and what you can do is you can get your brush and brush it back. If you wanted to sit back more, just use the brush. Just hold back your hair and give it a shot at the torch. And you can see that rib. It's kind of unusual. Almost closer to a fluorescent lime green probably. Then I say it's not a chartreuse. It's good stuff, this. So there's your finished fly.